to another video of the Coffee at the 10-Star Home webinar series by SUHO, in which we talk with the partners and people from the industry about the future of energy efficient homes and this concept car, as I like to call it, the 10-Star Home here in South Australia. With me today is Vince from Stiebel Eltron. Welcome.
Thank you.
They're one of the first partners that got on board in the project, and we're going to talk a little bit about your involvement. In a nutshell, what has Stiebel Eltron done to get involved in this project?
Thanks for asking. We basically got involved from the get-go with being an airtight 10-star home with our HRV system, and of course then we brought in the introduction of our economical fuel efficient heat pump, hot water.
Excellent. Well, and those two items are, I think, extremely important, especially the HRV when it comes to some of the concerns that people typically have around a very energy efficient home. Like you said, this is probably one of the most airtight homes in Australia, I would argue. And people often wonder, okay, if it's so tight, am I not going to get a stuffy home? How do I get fresh air? How does that work? And I think the HRV system is obviously the key part of that, of solving that potential issue.
Agreed.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Definitely. The advantage of the HRV system is keeping the home airtight. But at the same token, we need to bring fresh air into the home. Otherwise, with the build-up of CO2, basically people are going to feel pretty sick and crook in that scenario. So where we'd normally open doors and windows to get fresh air into a home, we want to basically use the HRV system for this scenario. We draw air from the bad areas, like your bathroom, laundry, kitchen areas. We take that air out of the home and we bring in the fresh air. At the same token, we trap and I suppose contain the heat that you've provided within the home. So therefore we can then bring in the fresh air, we slightly take the chill out of that air and we can bring back warm air into the room.
Okay, excellent. So that's also one of the things that I'm personally very excited about. When I moved here to Australia 2 years ago, I realized that everyone here is using their air conditioning to heat and cool their homes. And the second thing, I guess, the concern that people have outside, next to the airtightness element of things, is the temperature in the house. When I tell them that there's no active heating or cooling, there's no air conditioning in a traditional sense, people worry. They're like, isn't it just going to be super cold? Isn't it going to be super warm? How am I gonna, they feel like they need to control it by using that air conditioning, which is something I was not necessarily used to when I was back in the Netherlands. So for me, it wasn't necessarily very normal to have air conditioning. But certainly one of the things that people are very surprised about when I talk about the home. And the HRV system, or heat recovery ventilation, as it stands for, plays a key role in making sure that that temperature is nice and comfortable. We're outside, middle of the winter in Adelaide, 8 degrees, maybe outside, and we're very comfortable inside here without any form of heating or happening. Can you talk a little bit about how does that even work? How do we keep this house comfortable?
I suppose we're one key to your whole question, and the answer to that is, so there's a part of it where you've gone into a fairly intensive design aspect of this home as well. So having the home placed on the right side of the north facing, reversing the way you've built this home, you've created your own energy. So therefore, in that scenario, that's where your energy is coming from. What we're trying to do is make sure you don't waste that energy that you've captured. So we will trap that heat as we're bringing in fresh air into the home. So we're moving the air around the home, but at all times being fresh air as well.
Okay. So how do you you said before you chilled the air or you warmed the air. So how does that? Without getting too technical, how do we explain how that even works? So you obviously get heat build up in the home because there's people in there. How do you make sure that you contain that?
Okay, in the actual unit itself, it has a heat exchanger. So that heat exchanger is there to capture the heat that you've produced within the home. We trap that heat while exhausting the bad air out of the home. As we're bringing fresh air into the home, it goes through the heat exchanger, which we've generated the heat from the home that you've generated, and bringing in that fresh air.
Right, and that's the system in the back that we're seeing here, right?
That's exactly the unit that it's compacted into your cupboard there behind us.
So we built this house obviously very particular with this energy efficiency in mind, passive design, and we're able to keep this home at a comfortable temperature between 18 and 22 degrees all year round, and that's why we don't need the traditional air conditioning system with where you control temperatures. But people still ask often, how do we make sure that we've got a warm day outside, cold day outside, as it happens here in Adelaide. And how does the HRV system and Stiebel Eltron's products sort of complement that design that we've created here?
Definitely. So being that you have built this home to a thermal mass, we complement the home. So, for example, on an Adelaide day today, where we've got an outside temperature of 7 degrees, with an air temperature inside here of around 21, we're bringing in fresh air through the heat exchanger of the product, where we're capturing the heat that the home has produced on its own because of the way you've built this home. But at the same token, we bring the fresh air. Now, just mentioned 7 degrees, but because of the heat exchanger of the unit, we capture the heat that's generated, and as we're blowing in the fresh air from the atmosphere, we're through the heat exchanger, we're bringing the air temperature to around 20 degrees back into the home. So again, keeping that consistent within your temperature, and at the same time bringing fresh air into the home.
So it's that consistency that we're able to achieve through that system. Oh, that's excellent. And so if people wonder, like, I don't have to open my windows anymore. In fact, I think I heard you talk about you probably shouldn't.
Correct.
Because you're basically messing with the...
Well, exactly right. That's the whole idea of the HRV system, is to basically keep the home airtight and locked throughout the whole year. We can do the fresh air through the HRV system even during summer. We have a bypass system in the unit that shuts the heat out of the system during summer. And we're bringing in fresh air all the time without bringing the pollens, the dust, and those extra things that you do get in the atmosphere. So even from a cleaning perspective, can keep the home fairly clean at all times as well, because you're not bringing in those dust mites.
And good for health and
exactly
all kind of
right.
I would imagine. And I can imagine that, especially these days, people are going to be asking you questions about the COVID and viruses and stuff like that. And I'm not even sure whether that's super relevant for your system, but you're getting the question. I'm wondering what the answer is that you typically give.
Look, that has been asked. Unfortunately, our filters, we don't quite get to the hospital grade of of that side of it. But look, again, from your natural pollens, dust, those type of things, definitely we capture a lot of that through our filter systems on the unit, which you probably have to be changed probably every 12 months, depending on your building environments and those type of things around you. And giving you that fresh air, we've just got to make sure that the room is clean at all times.
So how do you get all the fresh air throughout the house? Like, people might worry, I'm going to have all these grills everywhere. Like, how does Stiebel Eltron, what's the solution for that?
Right, we've got a fantastic team of technical and technical team that will do a full design of your home prior to the build. So all we need is probably a set of plans like you guys provided us. Our technical team will then design the home to extract air from those particular areas that we need to, which are what we call the dirty air, which is laundries, kitchens and bathrooms, bringing fresh air back into the bedrooms and living areas. So we do a full intensive design of the home, and then basically supply all the materials required as well for the installer.
And they're very nicely implemented, as we'll show now while we're talking. People can see it on the video.
Correct.
Which is like, it's nicely implemented throughout the house, but it's in the same color as the walls. It's not very obvious. So it kind of blends in nicely.
Look, exactly right. The grills are very subtle. Yes, they're not obtrusive. They can be painted to the home's colours scheme. You can see behind us where the HRV system itself can be put into a cupboard, out of sight, out of mind. It's very low energy efficient product as well, so it's not going to chew up.
And noise, because we're in a bedroom right
Correct.
now.
That's right.
Not noisy at all.
Not noisy.
I'm not hearing it, so obviously people might worry otherwise whether it's going to interrupt their sleep. So we talked a bit about the HRV, which is super important for the house to perform the way it does.
Yes.
But Stiebel Eltron has obviously provided also the hot water system, as you mentioned before. What can you tell us about that system and why it's unique as a product from Stiebel Eltron, and why it's complementary to the design of this particular home?
Again, yes, we did provide the Stiebel Eltron heat pump hot water for this product, for this home. Again, a product that matches again within the whole system that you've built here. The product itself produces hot water for the home at a very low cost. We utilise a 0.5 of a kilowatt compressor in the unit, which pretty much in a whole home would only use around 3 kilowatts of your power. Now, being that you've put a solar system onto this house as well, you're basically not even going to be using the energy from the...
basically for free.
Correct. That's right. Exactly right.
Excellent.
Yes.
Okay. And what are we talking about in terms of capacity? And
You've put in a 220 litre product, again for the 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home here that we have here at Woodford, but again we also have a large unit, a 300 litre for those larger families as well.
Yeah.
Again, a product like that is only going to use, like I just mentioned earlier, 3 kilowatts of power. People need to get that, that's not a lot of energy to you, basically.
What is normal in the market? Like, do you have any reference? Or
look, funny you say that, Lawrence. I mean, look, most people are doing that cut and paste, what I call, and putting on gas just for hot water. Now that doesn't make any sense whatsoever when you're only utilising gas for hot water in a domestic home. I mean, a product like that, you're paying a supply charge of nearly $270 a year before you even turned on an appliance. Yeah. So you've got a heat pump that I break down as a simple maths product. If it's only using 3 kilowatts, and if you were paying 40 cents a kilowatt, you can do the sums.
And most people will have solar on their roofs. It's something that becomes more and more. We've got a 5 kilowatt system on the roof, and it's basically going to run the house as it is, including still battery
as well
for an electric car. So quite comfortably sitting within that space. Obviously, this whole house has been designed to do two things. It's trying to tackle, let's say, reducing the carbon emissions from two angles, which is generating energy with the solar system, as well as reducing how much energy we need, and both of the products really seem to be playing right into that space.
Look, with that product, with the hot water heat pump, again, you're doing that sustainable. It's a sustainable, renewable product. So again, you are doing that your cause, I suppose, for the environment. At the same token, providing hot water to the family at a low cost.
Yeah, and obviously, if you don't have to switch on an air conditioning, that makes a massive difference in terms of the amount of energy that you would use.
Again, like you mentioned earlier with the HRV system, exactly right. If you're not turning on an air conditioning unit for the home, you're definitely not drawing a lot of power.
Yeah, excellent. Well, thank you a lot, Vince, for not only being a partner on this project. We're really excited to have you on board with this. And I'm really keen for people to come, when they come over here, and have a look at your product, as well as all the other awesome products that we have. Make sure to tune in to our episodes moving forward. We've got all the partners coming by, talking about their products, talking about their vision of how the homes in Australia should be built moving forward. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And good luck with everything.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Excellent.